All right, today we're jumping into The $100 Startup, a book that totally flips the script on what it means to start a business. We're going to break down how you can turn something you're passionate about into actual profit, not with some monster 50-page business plan, but by starting with what you've already got, right now.
You know, this quote gets right to the absolute heart of it. It's not about waiting around for the perfect plan or the perfect moment. It's about that one split second where you just decide, you know what, I'm doing this. It's a huge reminder that just starting, just taking that first step, is everything.
So the book kicks off with a chapter called Renaissance, which is such a great way to put it. It's all about the rebirth of an idea, the idea that you don't have to be stuck in a job you don't love, that you actually have the power to build a life with a lot more freedom and a lot more purpose.
And this slide just nails the difference, right? On the left, you've got the old, kind of intimidating way of thinking. You need huge loans, these super complex plans. But on the right, that's the reality the book is talking about, just taking immediate, low-cost action. It's a total game changer.
So, okay, that's the theory. But how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, let's meet someone the book calls an accidental entrepreneur.
So get this, Michael Hanna. He had no plans to start a mattress company. He got laid off, happened to see this small opportunity with some leftover mattresses, and he just went for it. And his story is the perfect example of a key lesson here. The best business ideas, they're not always planned for months. A lot of the time, you find them right in the middle of life's unexpected curveballs.
And what this is called is micro-entrepreneurship. Look, it's not about building some billion-dollar empire. It's about creating a small, solid, profitable business that gives you real freedom. And here's the kicker. Thanks to the internet, it has never, ever been easier to just get started.
So what's the secret sauce here? How did all these different people, from mattress sellers to travel bloggers, all build a real living? Well, the book found there's actually a common blueprint they almost all followed, whether they even realized it or not.
And here it is. Think of these 6 keys as your personal checklist, you know? It's the framework that holds this whole idea together. We're going to dig into a couple of the most important ones. And as we do, just think about how your own ideas might measure up.
Let's start with the first one, because it's a biggie. We've all heard follow your passion a million times, but, and this is a really big but, it's actually pretty incomplete advice. The book gives this old saying a much-needed practical twist.
This is so important. Think about it. You might love to travel, but nobody's going to pay you to go on your own vacation. But they will pay for a guide you create that helps them have a better trip. See the difference? The business isn't always the passion itself. It's finding something related to it that's genuinely useful to other people.
Okay, now for the second key, and this one tackles the biggest fear for most people, financial risk. You got to forget that old idea that you need to risk it all or bet the farm. The whole point of this model is getting started with little to no debt. And here's the proof. A full 36% of the successful entrepreneurs in the book started their business with less than $100. Yeah, that's not a typo. 36%. Let that sink in.
And this chart breaks it all down. Just look at that. More than half of these successful businesses started with under $500. This isn't just a fluke, you guys. It's a pattern. It proves you absolutely do not need a fortune to get going.
And let's be super clear here. We're not talking about little side hustles for pocket change. The study only looked at businesses making at least $50,000 a year. So the big takeaway is that you can build a real, sustainable living for yourself without that huge, scary investment hanging over your head.
Okay, so we've seen the model, we've seen the data, but how do you actually put this into practice? Well, the book boils it all down to one really simple but really powerful formula.
It all comes down to this idea of convergence. This is that magic sweet spot, that perfect point where something you love to do or a skill you already have perfectly intersects with what other people find valuable enough to actually pay for.
This right here is the secret sauce. Passion plus usefulness equals value. The huge insight here is all about shifting your focus. It's not about what do I want to sell, it's about what do other people need. When you start thinking about how your passion can serve other people, that's when everything just clicks into place.
So, all of this leads us to the final and most actionable part. How do you actually get started? I promise, it's way simpler than you think.
I mean, seriously, forget the 50-page business plan. Forget the fancy website for now. To get started, this is all you really need. A product or a service, people who actually want to buy it, and a way for them to pay you. That's it. Everything else can come later. And you know, at the end of the day,
This is about so much more than just making money. It's about designing a life that you actually love, a life where you're in the driver's seat, where you get to define what freedom and success look like for you.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Forget about building an empire for a second. Just think about this. Using a skill you already have, what's one small problem you could solve for somebody else tomorrow? Your answer to that question could be the very beginning of your own $100 startup